The moment I stepped into our new house, my heart swelled with excitement. This was supposed to be the start of a beautiful new chapter with my husband, Eric. We had spent months planning every detail. Our dream home, built from scratch. But something felt off. Eric had been acting strange lately. He came home late, avoided conversations, and barely showed any affection. His once excited tone about our future now seemed distant. I tried convincing myself that he was just stressed with work, but deep inside, a feeling of unease crept over me, one I couldn't quite shake off. Eric had insisted on adding a basement to our home. I hadn't thought much of it at first, though I found it strange. He said it was practical. Extra storage, a safe space in case of emergencies. But looking back, I realized he was oddly fixated on it. He planned every detail meticulously, from the flooring to the lighting, making sure everything was just right. I didn't question it then. I trusted him. But now, as I stood in our empty house on moving day, waiting for him to show up, I started to wonder if I had made a mistake. The movers had arrived, but Eric was nowhere to be seen. He had left early that morning, saying he would handle things at the new house. Yet, when the movers called, they said no one was answering the door. Confused, I hurried to our new home. When I arrived, I saw his car parked outside, yet he wasn't there to greet me. My stomach twisted with unease. Where was he? I unlocked the door and stepped inside, directing the movers as my mind raced. Something wasn't right. My instincts screamed at me that something was terribly wrong. As the movers finished, I decided to check the basement. If Eric was anywhere, he had to be down there. I hesitated at the door, gripping the handle tightly. Then, I heard it. A muffled voice. A woman's voice, soft and affectionate. My breath caught in my throat. My mind tried to rationalize it, but my body had already reacted. My hands trembled, my heart pounded violently in my chest. Slowly, I turned the knob and pushed the door open just enough to see inside. The dim lighting cast shadows, but I could make out two figures. Eric and a woman. I've been meticulous in building this basement. No one will ever find out, right? Eric's voice, filled with warmth and affection, echoed through the space. Thank you for preparing such a lovely room just for me, the woman replied, her voice dripping with affection. My vision blurred. My breath turned shallow. It was real. Not a misunderstanding, not a mistake. Eric, my husband, the man I trusted, was having an affair. And not just anywhere, but in the basement of the home we built together. My fingers dug into the wooden doorframe as my entire world crumbled in an instant. I wanted to storm inside, to scream, to demand answers. But something held me back. My anger, my pain, it transformed into something sharper, colder. I needed to be smart. Bursting in now would only lead to arguments, excuses, and empty apologies. No, I wanted more than that. I wanted proof. I wanted justice. Silently, I stepped back, pulling out my phone. I recorded their voices, capturing every whispered word, every stolen moment of their betrayal. If Eric thought he could deceive me and walk away unscathed, he was wrong. I was about to turn his perfect world upside down. My mind raced as I quietly closed the door. I needed witnesses, people who would see Eric for what he truly was. Without hesitation, I called his parents, my parents, and even his uncle and aunt. Come see the new house, I said, forcing a bright tone into my voice. They were excited, eager to visit. Perfect. By the time they arrived, I would have everything set up. Eric thought he was in control, but he had underestimated me. The moment everyone stepped inside, they would see his betrayal firsthand. And this time, there would be no escape. 15 minutes later, the doorbell rang. My in-laws, my parents, and Eric's relatives stood outside, smiling, unaware of the storm they were about to walk into. "Welcome," I greeted them warmly, leading them inside. As they admired the house, I guided them toward the basement. "Eric put a lot of thought into this part of the house," I said, my voice steady despite the fire burning inside me. My hands shook as I turned the key in the lock. The door swung open, and there, in the dim light, were Eric and his mistress, caught in the act. Gasps filled the room. Eric scrambled to his feet, his face draining of color. The woman beside him shrieked, yanking a blanket over herself. My father-in-law's voice boomed, "What is the meaning of this?" Eric stuttered, but words failed him. My mother-in-law covered her mouth, eyes wide with horror. My parents stood frozen, unable to comprehend what they were seeing. The woman, realizing she was exposed, looked at Eric for help. But for the first time, Eric had no smooth words, no charming excuses. He had been caught, and there was no way out. "Who is she?" my father-in-law demanded. The woman trembled. "Jennifer," I said coldly. "She's a new employee at Simpson Corporation." My father-in-law's face darkened. "A new employee?" His gaze snapped to Eric. "You had an affair with someone from the company?" Eric stammered. "Dad, You're fired," his father cut him off. "And disinherited. I won't have a disgrace like you leading my company." Eric paled. "No, wait! Please don't do this." He turned to me, desperate. "Kelly, please, I love you. This was a mistake." But I only stared at him, feeling nothing but satisfaction. Jennifer, realizing Eric had lost everything, started crying. "Mr. Simpson, please don't fire me. I didn't know he was married." "Lies," his father snapped. "Everyone in the company knew. You were just hoping to rise through the ranks by sleeping with my son." Jennifer sobbed, clinging to Eric. But now that he had lost his status, his wealth, she wasn't so eager to stay. I watched as the man who had betrayed me lost everything. His job, his inheritance, his mistress. It was poetic justice. The life he had built on lies was now crumbling before his eyes. Eric fell to his knees. "Kelly, please. Let's fix this." I let out a humorless laugh. "Fix this?" I gestured around the basement. "You destroyed our marriage the moment you brought her here. There's no fixing this." His eyes filled with desperation. "I'll change. I'll do anything." But I had made up my mind. "I'm done, Eric. You made your choice. Now live with it." I turned my back on him, walking away without hesitation. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. The divorce was swift. Eric tried to fight, but with the evidence I had, he didn't stand a chance. I walked away with a generous settlement. He, on the other hand, was left with nothing. Jobless, disinherited, and drowning in debt, he had no future. Jennifer, unsurprisingly, disappeared soon after, leaving him to suffer alone. His dream home, the very place he had built to hide his affair, became his prison. And I walked away, never looking back. Starting over wasn't easy, but it was liberating. I found a new place, decorated it the way I wanted. No shadows, no secrets, just peace. My career flourished, and I surrounded myself with people who truly cared for me. Eric had once seemed like my future, but in the end, he was just a lesson. A painful one, but one I would never forget. One day, I heard through mutual acquaintances that Eric had left town. No one knew where he went, and frankly, I didn't care. He was nothing to me now. My heart had healed, stronger than before. And as I stood in my new home, sunlight streaming through the windows, I knew one thing for certain. I was finally free. Months passed, and life moved forward without Eric. The weight of betrayal had lifted, and I found myself enjoying the simple things again. Quiet mornings with coffee, laughter with friends, and the peace of knowing I no longer had to question my husband's actions. Occasionally, I'd hear whispers about Eric through mutual acquaintances. Some said he had moved away, desperately trying to start over. Others claimed he was drowning in debt, struggling to pay for the house he had built for his affair. I didn't care. His life was no longer my concern. My focus was on my future. For the first time in years, I felt free. Free from lies, free from deceit, free from the illusion of a perfect marriage. My new home was small but cozy, filled with furniture I had chosen for myself. No dark secrets, no hidden betrayals, just warmth, light, and peace. As I looked out my window at the city skyline, a quiet smile formed on my lips. This was my fresh start. Maybe one day I'd find love again. But for now, I was happy. And as I closed my eyes that night, I knew this was only the beginning.